The FA Cup Championship has perfectly wrapped up a turbulent season for Manchester United. Coach Erik ten Hag's team brilliantly defeated Manchester City, the Premier League champions, to claim the club's 13th FA Cup. This prestigious title means that Manchester United will secure a spot in next season's Europa League. However, this has created a headache for Ineos, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's corporation, which owns 25% of the Red Devils. The issue arises because Nice, a French team also owned by Ineos, has also qualified for the Europa League next season. In the 2023-2024 season, Nice finished fifth, earning a place in Europe's second most prestigious competition. According to UEFA regulations, two clubs with the same owner cannot participate in the same competition. Nice is owned by Ineos, which currently holds 25% of the shares and controls the football operations of Old Trafford. In short, Europe doesn't allow a situation where five thin men beat up one fat man. If UEFA strictly enforces this rule, one of the two teams, Manchester United or Nice, will not be allowed to participate in the Europa League next season. However, Ineos is quite confident about circumventing this UEFA regulation. Right after the FA Cup final, an Ineos spokesperson stated on RMC, "We are aware of the context of the two clubs and are in direct dialogue with UEFA. We believe we will find a satisfactory solution." After the last round of matches last week, Nice's executive chairman Jean-Pierre River was also unconcerned about the shared ownership issue. "Adjustments will have to be made. I won't go into details, but certainly UEFA's regulations won't cause any problems. Observers suggest that Ineos may make some adjustments to remove the Ineos name from any association with the French team. This would allow both MU and Nice to legitimately participate in the Europa League next season." Ineos is not the only entity facing this situation. Another group, City Football Group, has also devised legal solutions when Manchester City and Girona qualified for the Champions League next season. Like Nice and MU, these two clubs share a common owner. When asked if Girona would be disqualified from the Champions League, the club's president, Pere Guardiola, who is the brother of coach Pep Guardiola, said, "I don't think so. UEFA's regulations are clear. Some adjustments will be necessary, but there won't be any problems." He continued to explain that the 12 clubs under City Football Group mostly operate independently, though they do share some elements. This model might need adjustment if Girona and Manchester City both qualify for the Champions League. UEFA will need a convincing reason to allow both Manchester City and Girona to participate in the next Champions League. Historically, Leipzig and Salzburg, both owned by Red Bull, successfully circumvented the rules to participate in the Champions League together. On June 20, 2017, UEFA confirmed that the two Red Bull teams were eligible for the 2017-2018 Champions League. According to domestic competition results, Salzburg, the Austrian champions, would start from the second qualifying round, while Leipzig, the Bundesliga runners-up, had a spot in the group stage. Initially, UEFA stated that if the two teams were both managed by Red Bull, the Bundesliga runners-up would not only lose their Champions League spot, but also be barred from transferring to the Europa League. This rule was outlined in the Champions League regulations under the integrity of the competition, prioritizing national champions, making Salzburg the chosen team. However, after thorough investigation, UEFA confirmed that the two clubs met the conditions for participating in the most prestigious club competition in Europe. The official UEFA statement mentioned that both Salzburg and Leipzig made significant and genuine changes. The Financial Review Committee concluded that no individual or entity controlled more than one club participating in UEFA competitions. Therefore, Leipzig and Salzburg would not violate the integrity rule. How did the two clubs successfully fight this battle? Red Bull, the energy drink company, holds a large stake in Leipzig and has long been the main sponsor of Salzburg. The company's logo is prominently displayed on both teams' jerseys, and their stadiums are named Red Bull Arena. The teams also previously shared an executive, creating a strong impression of their linkage. According to UEFA rules, clubs owned by the same company, sponsor or individual, or that share staff and resources are prohibited from participating in two UEFA competitions. To get the green light from UEFA's investigative body, Leipzig undertook a series of legal actions before the season. According to the New York Times, Ralph Rangnick, previously the technical director for all Red Bull-related teams, including Red Bull New York in the MLS and Red Bull clubs in Brazil, resigned and only served as Leipzig's technical director. By April, Oliver Mintzlaff, Leipzig's head of global football, officially resigned to focus on his role as Leipzig's CEO. By May, Leipzig and Salzburg submitted detailed documentation to UEFA outlining their management and ownership structures. These changes were deemed insufficient by UEFA, which informed the clubs privately on May 26 that further efforts were needed to avoid Leipzig being expelled from the Champions League. Consequently, both clubs made more rigorous changes. Several Red Bull employees in management positions at Salzburg departed, ensuring that no individual could influence both clubs. The beverage company also reviewed and limited its financial support for Salzburg. Red Bull announced a sponsorship contract extending until 2022, reducing certain clauses to avoid suspicions about its influence on the Austrian club. The changes by Leipzig and Salzburg left UEFA's adjudicatory chamber with no legal basis to exclude either club from the Champions League. Any club benefiting from Leipzig's exclusion from the Champions League could have appealed UEFA's decision, but no club did so, as the detailed reports from both clubs contained no errors. This case serves as a classic example for Ineos and City Football Group to refer to. Thus, football fans eagerly await changes and anticipate seeing Manchester United in the Europa League. The final outcome remains a question for the future.